Hello and welcome to Between the Headlines, a weekly WBN podcast in which me, Vander, the host, I'm gonna cover the last news from last week from WBN in this first episode of the year, first news of the week, which came shocking from our newest journalist. Did you get sniped? Which got us the breaking news of a mysterious rubber chicken murder. Um, this took place in a motel in which the victim was Mr. Farmington Jr. Latest developments we've received at the editorials team would be that there is a chance of camera footage uh, in the diner of the possible murder behind this horrible act. We, WBN, are also working with local authorities to provide any kind of information on reporting to see if we can reach out people who may know what took place. But we're gonna go to the most important part of today's episode, and that's going to be the community suggestions. Yesterday, another article was published in which we covered last encryptor's suggestion, also known as Plague, um, in which he described a system in which players, especially newer players with guest accounts, would be either enforced or heavily encouraged to make an official account linking their emails. We've covered in great extent the suggestion in the last article, which you can find at hashtag media and media archive if you would like to see the moment it was published exactly, and you can read it for yourself. It's certainly a very interesting suggestion, as in, well, following recent events, more and more concerning has come for what is called smurfing, and which can be explained as a player having multiple accounts to artificially improve his performance, his statistics in the game, which of course affects and makes more toxic the entire Warbrokers gameplay experience. We certainly understand it. We've taken a look at Encryptor's former suggestions, one of which was the removal of incognito mode to play Warbrokers, which was accepted, and if it's good, last year it was approved and introduced into the game as an actual patch. WBN, of course, we're concerned with the quality and the community of Warbrokers, and for sure on how playable the game is, which is something Encryptor described in following the suggestion, in which he explained how several servers of Warbrokers became unplayable because of the insane amount of smurfing. It's interesting to point out how, for many of us, including myself, find out of Warbrokers through those websites who are more or less aimed at guest type of playing. It's a good idea overall to slowly phase out guest playing, but we should think about this because, as we said on the article, advertising on these kind of websites using very rough estimates only from the website of crazygames.com and using some information of private game developer, we came out on at around $30, which would be the revenue made by the developers by publishing the game. It could very well be that this amount is either lower or higher. It's hard to guess. This is overall a very good idea. As we already said, we are looking up to see what developments this will lead to. And we're more than interested in being part of this conversation, as everyone should be, because one of the main characteristics of Warbrokers is exactly that, being a simple, .io game everyone can play whenever they want to. It's interesting how we are already thinking of straight going into how can we get the guest to become members of the community? How can we get them to play the game more on a constant basis? How can we get them to, who knows, maybe buy a Steam account and then start buying coins? Warburgers per se isn't expensive. We get it. €5 or $5. It's money, but it's something you can spend on a bag of chips and a soda. Well, maybe 2 bags of chips and soda. Half a McDonald's meal is Warburgers. And I don't know you, but I can eat a McDonald's meal in like 15 minutes, and I have at the very very least 200 hours on Warburgers. So it's a very interesting suggestion. We're quite interested in if it's gonna get accepted. So far, it has gotten 12 upvotes. Yeah, one downvote, but we can say it's standard by the system.
Who else is here?
Hello?
You're the only one in voice chat.
I know. I've been
Oh.
talking all along for 13 minutes.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh, my bad,
I'm
my bad.
recording this at the same time, so. By the way, your voice is getting recorded, so that's something. I've just been.
Alright. That's cool, I'm chill with that.
For the people who are watching this when it gets uploaded, this is Icy Panda, one of. Well,
Yo.
to introduce yourself.
Yo. It's La Icy Panda. The best and greatest. Yeah, I have to go eat lunch. Bye.
Alright, enjoy your meal, pal.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that was Icy Panda. One of the many Warbrokers. Well, one of Warbrokers journalists. Who just stopped by say bye. Going back to the topic, we could say, seeing the success rate of these kind of suggestions, it's probably gonna get accepted. Maybe with a couple tweaks, especially considering it's such a simple update to make. One of the last things Encryptor talked about in his suggestion was a possible players only server. I wouldn't be able to say how much of an extra cost that would be. Probably would mean of reserving just a couple servers for players. I wouldn't see any problem with it. It probably would also make more balanced matches at the end. Encryptor himself said that the ratios between in those player-only servers would be around, at the very least, level 50 and level 90 to be able to join, which would give some extra competitive incentives for some people. Now we're moving with some basic Warbrokers news. This year we have many plans. We're planning on organizing in early mid July the Warbrokers News World Series. That's going to be a multidisciplinary 11-day long Warbrokers championships. More details are going to come out soon. There are going to be prizes. There are going to be coverage, of course, from WBN. It's to announce that WBN will not cover Warbrokers Open because it has been cancelled for this year, and we could say that following later trends, also Warbrokers Championship Series will also be cancelled this year, which is a big chance that Warbrokers News World Series would be the only tournament of this year. So I'm gonna wrap it up for this first installment of Between the Headlines. It has been a pleasure presenting it. This will get uploaded to YouTube later on my channel. And thank you very much for stopping by. And till next time, goodbye.